Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday, my people. We are there. We are at. We out here. That's what we want here. We out here. We out here. Where we folks there? Where we there? Where we there today? Happy Sunday, folks. No doubt you guys are busy enjoying the weekend. Good for you all. No doubt you folks are busy enjoying a fantastic weekend. It's beautiful outside, guys. You know, if you're outside already, kudos to you. If not, after the program, make sure you get some fresh air. Make sure you get some sunlight, folks. It's a sunny day outside. They're telling us I almost said 51 degrees. Almost said 51 degrees. We'll be boiling, folks. We'll be boiling. It's 29 degrees outside. There's a 51% chance of rain. That's what I was looking at. It's a 51% chance of rain, but it's 29 degrees outside, and they say it feels like 35. Of course, you know, weather.com is the place to go. And we have found weather.com to be valid and credible. When they say it's going to rain, especially when you see these high percentages, it's going to rain. As a matter of fact, I was trying to hang out some clothes this morning, and when I opened the back door, I realized, you know what? It's raining. It's raining. I know. Like at my age, I fell up hanging out clothes. You know, so I got my eyes set on a dryer. You know, I can put all my pension towards this, and I can get myself a dryer. That's my gift to me. I think in 2022. I like a tired hanging out clothes. Like a fed up now. All my life has had to hang out clothes. I'm fed up now. Well, you know, you all fancy setting the ass, but don't know what we're talking about. Because y'all got your all nice wash and dry and so such and so forth to this and Dorita, for that matter, won't know what we're talking about. Folks, I'm privileged to have our co-host from FYI, and you know she's trying to be co-host of this program too, you know. She's here with the studio, folks. Happy Sunday to you guys, and she's gonna help us to get through some of the content for today's program because we're talking about them boys. We're talking about them boys. Dorita, how are you doing? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
It's Sunday.
Yeah.
I did say that you folks are going to be here for me again on Monday.
Yeah, but
then,
you know, so much for that.
so
You
much
know.
for that. I've been out yesterday. I'm back
Yeah.
today. So I'm having a everyday work week.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Works as they said. You know, they say, life is what happens when you've done planning. When you're done planning, life is what happens.
No, but
You know.
strange enough, I wasn't feeling well yesterday. I'm still not feeling 100% today. But
I hope it's a boy. I hope it's a
no,
boy.
but I want to make the point
Great
that
ahead.
when I'm not feeling well, I find when I'm like try to be all cuddle up in bed,
Mhm.
it doesn't get better sooner. So, but when
Mhm.
I get out, it
Mhm.
seems like I just kickstart my recovery
Because
there.
that's how you design. You
Yeah,
don't. I think naturally you don't just like sitting around doing nothing. You like to be up and to be working. I love, as we were coming in, I love the feeling of going to work. I know
mm,
some other people can do it, but I love the feeling of going to work, of being productive, of setting goals and achieving stuff, and being productive as a human being,
that is
as a
correct.
citizen. You know. But it's good to see so many folks are joining us. We got Sheena Hazel joining us. Guyana Spectator, don't miss the show. Guyana Spectator says, Judy Fernand said she'll tell the population what the afternoon AFC did for their supporters. And I can say a story we got here.
I know, right? So glad Guyana
There's a
Spectator
story
has
we got
joined
here.
us once
A little
again.
bit apparently Guyana Spectator got cataract and they can't see for themselves. Apparently.
No, Guyana Spectator.
Okay?
Listen, folks like Guyana Spectator, I think our programs would be boring without them, to be
Yes.
honest, because
You know,
these folks are online waiting for us to come
yes.
on. So
You could
we have to say that we're always thankful
always
for the
thankful, always
feedback.
thankful. You could have some natural deductions. Sharon Shepard and Rowena Cummins, Clay
As
Capel and Derek Massey. I see Agri Delon Marsh is here as well, and
I
Vanessa De
see
Silva.
I see Margaret Nelson is telling Guyana Spectator to share the live.
Share the live, please. Don't just come around and spectate. You gotta become active. Spectating is one thing. You gotta move beyond that in
I would love
2022.
to see the face behind
Yeah,
some
yeah.
of these
It's easy just
names,
to have these makeup names
because
and
it
come
made me very
demanding
interested.
things of
Yeah.
people. That's the easy part. But if you look at the things that, for instance, and we can be talking about some of them in this program, we can be talking about them. So stay tuned, Gala Spectator.
Yes.
We can be talking with some of them.
Well, of course, I would not fail to deliver on what I promised.
If you, and it's going to be done inadvertently through the program, through the process, stay posted. Look at some of the things that you have folks complaining about.
Yeah.
And it'll tell you what APNU AFC has done, because the services were provided to such an extent that they didn't need to complain about them in 5 years. And in 2 short years, if we look at perhaps local governance as one thing that was provided for by APNU AFC, you know, I think that that Ghana Spectator missed this. I think Ghana Spectator missed this. Because to think that prior to 2015, you had no local government elections for 20 odd years. And Guyana Spectator wants to come and ask what APNU AFC did. I mean, to God, you're blind?
That's democracy you're talking about?
Right? Brought back local democracy. You're blind?
You wanted to go to the tax,
Right?
the inflation numbers?
No, we got to go there yet. Let me bite off this piece, because there'll be other programs I hope Guyana Spectator joins us for, which will articulate those issues. But let's talk about local governance. For 20 odd years, this is a feature of the Constitution that says every 3 years, you should have local government elections. And so you are constitutionally mandated. Those same people who now tout and position themselves and posture as guardians of the Constitution, right? Those same folks for 20 odd years, and even since they come in, so you add 2, let's say it's 20, add 2 to 20, it's 22, because we were supposed to have local government elections last year. And we're still waiting.
Gotcha.
We are still waiting on local government elections.
But I can say that I'm a product of the APNU AFC local government policy altogether, because when it comes to local democracy and grassroots leadership, that is something that the APNU AFC holds dearly, and because of that, that's where I made that's where I stepped into politics altogether through that system. But I think some of the things that we need to talk about, and I would advise whomever's behind the profile of the Spectator to simply go, and I will direct them to the website. You can simply go to the Ministry of Finance website and go to the budget presentations, and you can go back to all the years that the APNU AFC was in office. Look at the target set and what was the production met for the various sectors in the country, and then do a comparison to what it is right now in Guyana. I think that the startling difference would be seen there. The fact that we are fighting inflation with absolutely no policy measures in place to actually deal with that right now.
So Guyana Spectator said APNU AFC brought back local government elections. Great job, guys. I thought we didn't do nothing. So let's start from there.
Oh gosh.
I thought we didn't do nothing. But I want to bear in mind, we got lots of stuff that are happening. And, you know, folks, this is where we began. Who we got watch us? This is where we begin our broadcast from this morning. Some of this stuff happening at local government. Who we got watching us?
At local government.
No, who we got watching us?
I was wondering. I see Sheena Hazel is on. Sheena Hazel. I see Glycis Mingo born. Hey Glycis and Dawn Cook. How are you guys doing? How are you spending your Sunday? I see is it Maxine? Hey, good day. How are you? I see is it Monroe is on. Is Maxine Monroe, and there is another Maxine still. I see both of you on here. Tony Hack. Hey Tony, what are I see Tony says Guyana Spectator and Mac Choi is the same mate.
Mac Choi.
Guys,
I ain't doubt you.
And you do the you read the rest of the comments.
I ain't doubt you.
Rowena comments here with us. I think that person needs to go do some work over at the state media.
Oh wow, oh wow.
I can say that much.
They come here to bother with us. Eh?
Like,
They come here to bother with we of all the things they could be doing. Of all the things they could be doing.
I saw you featuring. I saw you featuring today.
You saw who?
You featuring today, Mr. Duncan.
I'm featuring?
You're featuring. You said that you attack a media personnel. So says the Guyana Chronicle.
I attacked media person. Oh
think
my,
so.
oh my. Oh
Yes,
wow.
you did. Why did you do
Wow.
that? You know, it's crazy, right? Because I think they were speaking about like your reporting of the individual, but then again, they're critiquing your critique of the individual.
Wow.
Guys, how are you doing out there? Vanessa De Silva.
Wow. Interesting. And you know, they really probably starve government media.
I don't think Sharon
You
has
know,
seen this before. I think I'm now bringing it to
really,
his attention.
really starves. Right? Oh,
I-
so he got this is the fellow who got the Jammy Board Award Friday. I want to tune in every day. I'm happy these guys are watching us. Oh, it's so this is so what do you call it? It's so nice. Oh, they're so fond of us. Wow. So we got a whole article? Like, we must be doing something right. When you, get a whole article.
You got a colored
Yeah,
page
a
of that.
colored page too.
They didn't even bother to stick
In the
you into the
Chronicle.
corner.
In the Chronicle.
Got a
The same
colored
one
page.
with well, if they're trying to overthrow their own EIC, they what are they gonna do with me?
But I think they're wrong for the photo that they're using.
Yes,
I have
you
to
know.
say, if you're gonna
But
if you're
real-
gonna do the coverage,
Yeah.
put good photos.
Yeah.
Be fair. I
Yeah.
think you always be fair.
Yeah,
You're
I always
fair.
in
You always
this
put
regard.
good
I try-
photos.
I try to put good photographs of people.
Yeah. Come on, guys.
Right?
You gotta do better than that.
Launches verbal attack. You never been attacked. Never been verbally attacked, Mandy. I've never been verbally attacked. That's the first thing. Right? And notice Chronicles attack. Because if you read some of the stuff their own reporters said about the EIC, then you will see verbal attack.
Yeah. But I think no, but that's what I was saying.
If they want to see attack.
But basically, that's the point I'm making. If you were to read this, if you were to interpret this in the same breath, you would say that they're verbally attacking you here too. So,
but they have a different
based on their standard.
They have a different way. Interesting. I got a whole page. We're doing something right. We must press on. We must press on.
I don't like the photo. I think I've seen better photos, but I think they have this in the archives. We need to send an updated photo for the archive.
We must press on. We must press on. We must. But folks, we're following what's happening at the local governance level, and our discussion today is that there's a total disarray and decay at local government level, and we're going to show you how and why we've arrived at this Maureen Chichester. Maureen, how you doing? And Candy says, I'm ready to rumble. How is Candy? Candy's them vibrate go,
Yeah. I want
vibrate
to.
go.
We have to in the future.
Yes.
We have to find a forum in which we can bring together as many as these viewers as possible in the same room.
In the same space, like a live audience kind of thing.
These
Chit-chat,
personalities.
especially this bad set.
And we are not going to leave out people like Guyana spectators.
No.
Absolutely
Front row.
Front row.
Ringside. Only like good to see you, Carl Fordyce. Good to see you, Donna McDonald. Good to see you, Myrna Stobie.
Carl, what's up? Carl, you're a ball of fire there in the comments. What's going on? Carl Fordyce is very angry about something. I don't know what's going on. Let us know what's bothering you.
Yeah.
Carl. This is not regular Carl.
Yep. Amina, Narish, we see you as well, and Tony Hack and Chandel Moses, all you wonderful folks. Don't only spectate, come on, activate, share the live stream, smash that emoji button, and partner with us. So, folks, we're following up on what's happening at local government, at the local government level, at local governance level, and overnight we saw some commentary out of Virasamy Ramaya, and he was the REO, am I right? Of Region 6. Is it the REO? Region 6?
I do not want to clarify.
Yes, it's REO because who is David Armagon? David Armagon is the something there in the region too. It's the two spots, David Armagon's post and the Regional Executive Officer, REO, and you are regional chairman. I think Ramai was the REO, and Armagon is the.
David Armagon is the regional chairman.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
So for example, the REO. Good. So we are in trouble.
Fact check.
He resigned, and he has reverted to the work he used to do in the past, and he speaks out on a lot of governmental issues, the national government level and the local government level as well. And so he was articulating some of what transpired recently in Region 6. Just to give you an example of the kind of decadence and decay that is permeating at the local government level. Let's take a listen to what he said last evening. Let's take a listen to that. Let's take a listen to that.
Good evening, and welcome to a short program that I have in mind to do this evening, where injustice continues to be the plight in our ancient county here. A moment ago, I came from the Wim police station, and Mr. Azad Taki.
Apologies here, folks. Try and get the audio.
An ex-NDC councillor for Allness, a businessman for over 30 years. He has a gas station. And the lawlessness that is being tolerated, and I have to send a message to our president and our vice president, that the lawlessness that is being permitted in Region 6, I have no fear to describe the outrageousness of what is being tolerated in this region, and by whom? Party supporters and the government. And I don't believe strongly in my heart that the president and the vice president will support this lawlessness. Mr. Taki, just go and ask this guy by the name of Ali, who is an RDC councillor, NDC councillor, that he was scooping up the dirt on the sides of the Alice public road, Adventure public road. And Mr. Taki told him that you have to level the road first before you can take out this dirt. What most of these people, this is exactly what took place at Babujan. The whole few $1 million that the government spent during last year's flood to dig the big trench, and hundreds of truckload of dirt was given away by the NDC. Given away. And now we build a brand new road. I will come back to this, but I just want to tell you about the lawlessness. People fetching out the dirt. Now they build a brand new road, and the edge from the road is going down the drain. Because when you climb up, you have to climb up over 6 inches high. So what happened? When Mr. Taki was trying to stop this guy from doing what he was doing, he was beaten up. He did lift his hand. But if you see the condition and the whipping that Mr. Azad Taki went through this afternoon. So he called me up. And I said, go to the station. And I spoke to the regional chairman as to what is going on. But the regional chairman, he had a valid point. That for the road, yes, he can do something. But for personal attack, he has to go, Mr. Taki has to go to the station and he had to go and make a report. So he did. He was given medical forms. He went to the hospital. Surprisingly, he was then picked up by the police and he was taken to the WIM police station. The WIM police station. Surprisingly, with this guy, Ali. But everybody in this region know where the privilege is given and who is getting the privilege. I saw Mr. Taki and I had to take money to bail him out. But there is something that is bothering me. A man of reputation, a man who is doing so much in this community, that why he couldn't have gotten a bail, a self-bail, on his own recognizance. That is one of my questions. Why he couldn't get a bail, why he had to give monetary bail before they could release him. When he was the victim in this situation. So, is this law is working? Is the law is working? So when it was placed on the Facebook, one of the non-entities who is being paid to put fake, well, I am being cursed by two, the world map head and the prate. I said the prate. That Mr. Taki deserved more than that because he just responded with a very discreet where credit is due, he gives credit. But the question is, this woman is getting so much of privilege that not only that, she now becomes a contractor with Oklahoma to tell the public that Taki deserved what he received. Wow. All of a sudden, he pulled out what he put on the Facebook. Someone called, take it out, because they know the backlash. But then I realized that I will go to the station. Then I realized I will go to the station to see Mr. Taki. Now, I want people to understand. I want this message to get to our president and vice president. Because I know for a fact that lawlessness is beyond in Region 6. This morning, again, I received a call from the chairman of the WIM NDC. Somebody filled up the whole trench at Letterkenny. I was there last Saturday, 1 week ago, when our agriculture minister told the engineer to get police officers and go and dig out this dirt. Now you can imagine we have the overseer, we have councillors living in Letterkenny, and when this man was committing this crime, they did not stop the people. But you know what is going on? I heard from when I went to the station this afternoon that the chairman, not Mr. Armugan, from the NDC, give these people permission, the lawlessness, and I met somebody from Bushlat. was giving me complaint. That's how papers are being signed by the overseer. No inspector, nothing, and I get permission to build house. And what a whole set of nonsense that is going on. But let me come back to the subject matter where people are taking advantage of doing their own things. And I'm listening to people. I am going to all the wake houses. People come and they talk to me. You know what some of these people are saying? That this is PPP government. We are PPP supporters, and we can do what we want to do, and nobody can do us anything. Nobody cannot do us anything. Nobody cannot do us anything.
Yep. You heard that? This is written 6, and Dr. Ramaya is professed to be a supporter of the PPP, but he's telling you as it is.
Ramaya has
The unvarnished truth.
I think some of the words that stood out to me: injustice, lawlessness, outrageousness, and that's how he started his line of comments on this matter. That's how we see it. He see the matter. He see it as injustice. He see it as just blatant lawlessness and outrageousness, and that's how he characterized it. And I want to make the point that that he was a person also, Ramaya was a person also, that was going around when there was the $10 billion allocated for the flood relief. And when those monies were being shared, he was very active on the ground to show the corruption that went on with the distribution of those funds as well.
Correct.
So he has been doing his work. I know and at this point I have to say that like you just said, like he is being someone that is known to be supporter of the administration, but that doesn't stop him from speaking out against blatant injustice. And and because of that, he's going to get my attention. He calls a spade a spade.
Can you imagine, intervening as a counselor? Destroying the parapet, according to Ramaya, is a counselor. A PPP counselor is not an ordinary resident. It's somebody who should know better. Guided by Chapter 2801, Chapter 2802, if memory serves me correct. One deals with municipalities, one deals with the RDCs and the NDCs. Who should know better? Marlon King. Jamaica Williams should know better. And because somebody who was in the system like him, who understands what should be done, intervenes, he can get the beating of his life.
But that's assault. That's an assault charge. But it's crazy the manner in which it was handled.
The beating of his life.
But even after that, I think what's more interested in how that was handled.
The man is arrested.
Correct.
And is put on bail. Who suffered the beating? And here Ramaya says, because in Berbice, I don't know if it operates other places. In Berbice, it seems that in this funeral setting, the wake and so on, is where the village news is passed.
I see.
So Ramaya says when he goes to these wakes, and people love to attend wakes in the country, it's a community event. He says people are telling him, we in government. You see the slackness?
Gotcha.
You wouldn't see this. You wouldn't see Ramaya's comment in the Chronicle.
Wow. But
the article Jarita just showed me about me, it has about one line. Taken from my program. One line.
A full page.
Right? And you got a full page article from one line. Right? But you wouldn't see Ramaya's interview, Ramaya's program, and his comments in the Chronicle. Not Sir Amabel Clement, Patricia Kisoon. But here is Ramaya saying, them boys say it's we time, it's we government, or we could do whatever we want to do. That can't be good governance. That can't be rule of law if every man does what is right in his own eyes. And that is what we have seen when we talk about local governance in total disarray and decay, Charita. And I'm going to point out one of the things, similar to what has happened here. It's like you say, in this case, in Region 6, and less than those areas. Jail Jesus, but give me Barabbas. It's Sunday.
Again, spectator still on?
Some of you might have context for it.
I'm going to check in.
Jail Jesus, but give us Barabbas. The man who intervened to preserve public property is beaten, and he's the one who was locked up. He's the one who got to pay bail. And we have seen these kinds of incursions and infractions repeatedly. Right? It's we time, and we can do what we want to do. Doretta, you're from Region 7.
Correct.
And in particular, you're from Bartica.
That is correct.
You know?
Home, sweet home.
And there is a community development council at Bartica in a place called Dark Point in Agatash.
Correct.
Those people had a village election. And the election didn't come out the way the PPP wanted to come out. And the PPP upturned the whole election.
That is correct.
That is what we talk about when we talk about decadence and decay, the undermining of local governance. This is what we mean. This is what we mean when we talk about total disarray. You have an election. The thing and go how you want it go. And you broke up the whole election. I don't know if those people have had another election since, if they have allowed another election since.
But I want to make a point, if I
Over
could.
to you, ma'am.
I want to make
please.
a point that when it comes to local governance and local democracy, especially when you were speaking about what played out at Dog Point, it was in 2016 that the very first town council was elected for Bartica. Bartica was given the township status, and they had the local government election, and the very first town council started from 2016. I served on that council. I'm making this point because the CDC, the Community Development Council, is in those two councils were namely in Agatash and Dog Point. When there was the election, those areas, the boundaries of Bartica was extended, and those areas were included into that into the township.
Yeah, into the municipality.
Good.
Of Bartica.
So now they fell under constituency 9. I'm making this point to show the depth at which the coalition went to preserve local democracy. They fall under constituency 9, so they have a constituency representative now. However, the coalition still respected the process of the community development councils instead of going and forcing this whole idea of the constitutional
coming through the representative as
exactly.
against having a CDC.
Correct. Now what you saw when the PPP came into office, they just went through to railroad the entire process. We don't have time with this local democracy. That's basically what they're
Especially
saying.
when they can't have their man at helm.
And I want to say that Starbuck News spoke about this. Starbuck News put it over so well. Starbuck News said they are not interested in supporting or adhering to any advice coming from a body that they basically have not infiltrated. That is how they operate, and that is what we're seeing at every level there. But I heard the frustration in Ramaya's voice, but Ramaya needs to be very strategic in how he aligns all together, because Ramaya seems to be someone very passionate about the representation of the people. And once he comes out and he speaks up like this, I always give him credit where credit is due.
People in general.
Yeah.
People in general. And what transpired there at that point in Agatash in 7, folks, is what transpired in some other places too. I would have you know that. Ram Singh and Fenton Tiwari, Suzette Washington and Sandra Ford. This is what transpired too, for instance, in Lalouni. This is on the Linden-Sussex Highway, Region 4. They had a similar concern where they felt that their CDC elections in the community was being sidelined and overtaken by outsiders. And these outsiders, incidentally and coincidentally, supported PPP. So, of course, if One, the people can't control it. You've just articulated what Starbuck News has posited. They will smash it up and block it up, which is what was happening at Luluni in Region 4. So you got Region 4 got problems, right? You got Region 6 got problems, which is what Ramaya
Yeah.
was articulating. 7, and these are just a couple of them. Is that the only problem? It's just couple.
Listen, these issues are just a microcosm in the bigger issue at hand: poor governance, no democracy, the tearing down of the guardrails of democracy and good governance altogether in the country. So all of these issues that we're seeing in the various regions, all of these issues are just coming out of the fact that's from the time they entered office in 2020, they have been consistently tearing down every aspect of the guardrails.
Yep.
And that is what we're seeing going on there right now.
Yep.
Right, so we're going to see it, it's going to be showing itself in so many ways. We're going to see the popping up of the IMCs all over.
And you articulated part of this earlier in the CDCs as well.
Correct.
Because to undermine municipalities that have been won, I shouldn't be controlled,
Correct.
been democratically won by the APNU AFC, they have gone to install a lot of CDCs.
But that's
so that they don't have to deal with the municipality.
But I want what is important to note is that they are installing, as opposed to having the community elect these representatives on the CDC. I think there is nothing wrong with having the CDCs in place. However, they have chosen to install these CDCs representatives as opposed to the elected representatives that the people want for themselves. And that's when they go against every aspect of good governance and democracy, and they just throw that in the corner altogether, because they want to make sure that whatever is done at the end of the day, criticism, constructive criticism, is not coming out of these communities, and they want to control that if any aid is going to these communities, that it be directed to their political supporters as opposed persons who are more in need of whatever service or good that is there.
I'm happy you mentioned that, Rita, because Campbelltown in Region 8 is one such place.
Yes.
And they say that Campbelltown is one of the closest communities to Madia. Trita, you know these places better than I do.
Yeah, I have traveled the length and breadth of this country. Thankfully, I'm very happy to have had the experience. It's one that I hope everybody would have.
And the Campbelltown, it's Tushau. Mabel Thomas was unceremoniously removed by the PPP, right?
And a person's
unceremoniously removed, Rita, and for reasons that you would find mind-boggling. Remove. But you know what was the real reason?
But before you, I think you should give the reasons that they are given first before we get to the real reason. I think
it would boggle the mind.
It's crazy, but we would know. For folks that don't know, you need to go and check. Every single time you see the people go to an area and they behave in that manner, you should go to the election statistics for a couple of years back, and you would understand why they are behaving in that way. Because Campbelltown is one such community that is not that they usually don't have their way when it comes to the polls. So when the persons have people in place there based on a democratic process, they're going to go and strong arm the process to get someone else there, because they are trying desperately to have total control over the area.
Yeah. Marble Thomas was the Tushau there.
That is correct.
And Marble's only real crime would be that Marble wasn't jumping to their tune. Right? Wasn't singing their song. And so Marble Thomas from Campbelltown Region 8 was unceremoniously removed. And we could go through region by region. In Region 7, you have the Nashri Guide, Union Nashri Guide NDC in Region 7, West Coast Bobbies. They have accused the Minister of Local Government,
Region 7 and West Coast Province.
right? Yes.
Yes.
They have accused no, this is Region 5.
Okay.
Union. This is Region 5, sorry.
Union, our city is Region 5.
Yeah,
as well.
Union, Region 5, sorry. Region 5. Right? They have accused the Minister of Local Government and the Region 5 RDC of usurping its powers. Right? Hear what the article on this said, and I think we picked this up from, I think, Village Voice, who did a feature on this. It said that the Tiffany McFarlane mentor, who I think is a counselor there, said that the Minister of Local Government had engaged in micromanaging aimed at dictating the development agenda of the local organ while largely ignoring the immediate needs of the people.
That sounds like the PPP.
That sounds like the PPP. Union, Nashville Guide, NDC, Region 5. And we can go on. I want to quote a couple. So when we talk about decadence and decay and the failing of the local government system under these trench coats and jagabats, you understand what we mean by that. Let me go on to call a couple more. At Rose Hall, believe it or not, because of what was happening at the Rose Hall NDC, you had a no confidence motion that was brought by the council, right, against the chair, the vice chair, and the treasurer. At Rose Hall NDC, that's in 6 again, where Armagon is there. You've had reports where, the Ghana Spectator is there. You had chairman, vice chairman, mayors, their deputies, and councillors whose stipends were increased under the APNU AFC administration. Their stipends were increased. Allotments to the municipalities, the RDC, financial, budgetary allocations were increased. Stipends of overseers, councillors, mayors, deputies were increased.
When it comes to the previous administration, wages and salaries overall increased.
Right? Were increased.
For everyone,
and
every single one.
Them boys come. Them boys, y'all know we talking about Marilyn Thomas, Vanessa De Silva. Them boys come. They ain't cut the 50% increase that the bills down for and say it was unconstitutional and, you name it. They cost APNU AFC for it. But when they come, they ain't take a reduction. Right? They ain't take a reduction. When they came, right, they cut some of these stipends, not all, for selected people, they cut some of the stipends.
No increase for wages and salaries for 2021.
They cut the stipends.
Because
we talk about that, Ghana Spectators. They were increases. We not only brought back local government. You see, we could go after other sectors, but I want to sink in with teeth and let us parse.
Yes.
Local government.
Let's do that.
Right?
I'm anxious to go to others, but let's go
We brought
down.
back local government election.
Yes.
We increased the subvention to NDCs,
The
whether
local
they were
authorities.
APNU, whether they were PPP, all of them
Got
got
it.
the same increase.
That is correct.
All of them got the same increase. And we will go to the allocations out of the 2022 budget to local governments. And we can show you what one Guyana look like under the PPP. One Guyana under the APNU AFC meant all of the local government bodies got the same budgetary allocation. The same.
My goodness.
It has not been so. It does not operate that way currently. As a matter of fact, they have cut specific persons their stipends,
That is correct.
offering them no justifications and no reasons. And them boys want to call us riggers and all manner of things.
When it comes to development
And they don't know
altogether,
a damn thing.
I think persons, a lot of
About
people,
development.
a lot of persons just don't look beyond their four walls, and so they don't have a pretty clear idea of the level of development that occurred for the period 2015 to 2020. And I can tell persons, you go to region 9 and you will see the transformation when it comes to infrastructure work, especially there when it comes to the fact that persons, the technological advancement that has been pushed to that area, the integration to make sure that you're bridging the hinterland with the urban areas. And also when it comes to let me start at region number 2. You go to
Equality
no, you start,
in
let's
development.
go to the let's go to the fact that we have the PPP strongholds, as we would refer to those areas, like region number 2. Persons that traverse the area, persons that travel from Perico to Essequibo very often would know that after 23 years of the PP in power, the poor persons in Essequibo that goes out to the polls diligently and vote for them every single year was falling down on the stelling shaking down. It's a matter of time before real accidents were there. Now, look at the waterfront. AP and UAFC. And let's talk about those things. Let's talk about the fact that you go to Region 9 and the persons were expected to walk on the road. However, because the population doesn't concern them. The people voted for them so many times, but they don't care about that. Under the coalition administration, look at the road, look at the infrastructure there. Let's talk about the fact that when it comes to communication altogether, let us speak about the push to have persons informed under the AP and UAFC administration conduct after the PPP was in office for over 23 years. There were radio stations set out throughout the length and breadth of this country to make sure that persons were informed. There was the whole push when it comes to having ICT hubs throughout the country. Sometimes persons ask questions that I think that they're not really ready to hear the responses for. When you talk about the overall economic status of the country, the very fact that when we're coupling and struggling to deal with the rising costs of living, inflation, and then we have to go back to the fact that Winston Jordan under his stewardship had the inflation rate just about 1%. One particular year, 0.5%, but it's basically saying zero inflation at all. How did that happen? Persons often ask what was done, and I can answer those in so many different ways. We can go sector by sector, region by region, ministry by ministry, you name it, let's go.
But at the local government level, believe it or not, when these organs were given their budgetary, their subventions, they were left to develop their own programs, their own plans, and spend it as was necessary, given the dictates of whichever community they felt. Not sounding them boys. When they give the budget allocation, they're telling them, allocate $1 million for street lights. Because some friend and some family or a favorite to get a contract.
But not only that.
And allocate 1.5 to roads.
Yes.
Go ahead, Rita.
That is good. But not only that, under the coalition, the regional bodies were allowed the flexibility to function as they should. And when it comes to the way in which it is done now, I have been speaking to persons at the regional level, especially when it comes to Region 7, where I am from, in terms of the budget and the budget preparation. And the councillors, the elected councillors, have not even seen any documentation, more so to sign off that we agree on this is how the budget should be done. That is the way in which they manage. That's the dictatorial way in which they go about doing things. And you can see that repeating itself throughout. We have, let me just talk about this also. We have the situation with the constitutional agencies. The very fact that when the AP and UAFC administration was in office, they separated that budgeting aspect, and they said the constitutional agency should not be just subjected to do their budget through a minister. Let them present their budgets on their own based on their needs, so they will not be crippled or stifled in that way. The PPP came back into office and they said that, they want to control that, basically. So now the constitutional agencies, which is based on my understanding, I'm not a legal person, but it seems to be an illegality by itself to have the constitutional agencies now being budgeted back in that manner. as it was prior to 2015. You know, when it comes to democracy, a lot of persons like to talk the talk, you know, but you would say it so many times that democracy is not just going to the polls, you know, that's not where it starts and stops. And it
It's more than
continues,
that.
and the
More than that.
continuation is what we're looking at and scrutinizing right now. And there is no aspect of good governance nor democracy as we see the process moves
And
forward.
talking about that continuation, Jarita, did you know we used to have an annual mayoral conference and a national conference on local democratic organs?
Yes, I attended. I attended the one on the whilst the AP and UFC was in office.
But that happened in
Yes.
2 years.
But
They broke up.
no, but that would not happen because they don't see that they're not interested. And I think that the difference that the PPP came with now is that they are not even interested in pretending to have an interest in good governance and democracy. They just go out and they just make sure that every time to distract and deflect from the real issues at hand, they're just going to go back to what they believe to be a strong point
They've
from
taken off
them
the facade.
prior.
They've taken the
But
facade off.
it doesn't mitigate the fact that that good governance and democracy, all the guardrail of those have been
They
broken
broke
down.
it down.
Transparency,
down.
accountability,
My
all of
God.
those things are seen as song whipping in the country right now. That's why Ramaya
Yeah.
is saying what he's saying there. That's why he's so
Yeah.
passionate in what he's saying, because it is hurting people every single day, the manner in which the government is behaving. And I want to make the point that that their strongholds are not exempted from the lawlessness
Precisely.
that is going
And
on.
tomorrow's program,
Yeah.
we're going to be focusing on that point. How their own strongholds, they've
Yeah.
abandoned their own people.
Yeah.
We can talk about that tomorrow. We used to also have the Guyana Association of Municipalities.
Yeah.
That has gone by the wayside because they have stopped funding. The Guyana Association of Municipalities, they come together, they plan, they look at best practices, they talk.
I think that the last one was again under the APNUFC administration's leadership, and I think the last one was held actually at the Marriott, if I'm remembering clearly, and persons would come and like Shred is rightly saying, and good governance and best practices is exchanged, because there's always overlapping issues within the various communities that persons can learn from.
Yep. And I know Charita is a woman who loves the numbers, you know. Women like money, right? But Charita like the numbers even more bad.
Yeah, I think I have a more...
Right?
as
Women
you
like
say,
numbers.
I have
Charita like it more bad.
a more knock for it.
Right?
Don't give me the words.
There's something in this finance family, because I think your sister-in-law to like numbers too. Your sister-in-law is very much into math. We can call her name, but
yes.
They like numbers in this family.
Well, she's worse than me. She's more so numbers to the fact of programming and all of those things.
When we look at the allocations, the budgeting allocation, this is national government level.
Yeah.
When they have budgeted for the regions, this is through the local government ministry that has the misfortune of being administered by the likes of Nigel Darmlad. When you look at it and their allocations,
The electoral map.
you see the electoral map in it, because every region that is controlled by the PPP has gotten an exorbitant amount of money. And those that are controlled by the APNU AFC, you see, I don't want to use words, you see a very small increase, if any. As a matter of fact, Guyana Spectator, right? What boggles the mind is that Region 4 not only has the largest population, Region 4 has the largest municipality and the oldest municipality.
That's
is Region 4.
Most importantly, Region 4
Region
is not the
4
PPP base.
Region 4 got less.
Because it's not the PPP base.
In 2022 than it got before. And the budgetary allocations, for you who want to fact check, we know they got some wonks here.
Yeah.
When you go to the budget, you look for line item 6211.
I just want to tell persons what that line item represents.
Talk to us.
6211, that particular line item represents the allocation that is given to the regional administration that is to be spent, that the decisions are to be made on how that is spent by the region, as opposed to the budgetary allocation that comes from central government, and central government dictates what is done in the region. So I think it is important to note that distinction, because what you see happening there is that that was done in that manner because regions like Region 7, Region 4, and Region 10, those regions were not won by the PPP. So because of that fact, they are going to try to stifle them financially, so that the regional representatives that were elected by the people, now the people would be wondering, why are they not doing this? Why are they not doing that?
Yeah.
But persons need to understand,
Yeah.
because they have been crippled financially by the PPP administration. I have to make the point that this is with the largest budget ever. That particular allocation comes after budget of $552.9 billion.
Yeah.
There's never before heard of
Yeah.
a figure. The very first budget that is utilizing
Believe
the
it or
oil
not,
resources
believe it or not.
and all of that.
Look, story here now though. Region 9, for instance,
Yeah,
got
I want to get
$40
there.
million, right? Both years. Region 4, being much bigger in population, right? Got 21 million,
I have an issue with Region 9.
21, and it got 18 million in 2022.
Yeah. I have an issue with Region 9, and I want to say it. I am, when it comes to the fact that people like to go out there and to have the parade about that they have so much interest in the indigenous communities and so forth. Region 9 being an area that is so densely populated with indigenous communities. And I want to say that it is unacceptable with the biggest budget ever for the PPP administration not to see a need to increase that allocation there to that region. And it just goes to show that the only interest they have in the indigenous region is not to further empower them to make their own decisions, but rather to maintain control over every aspect of development for those communities and the persons that reside there. So I think that those numbers speak volume as to their real interest. And it goes back to the whole saying in my very first budget, I said it in the National Assembly. My opening speech was that I was repeating, I think, Joe Biden when he said, show me where you spend your money and I will show you who you value. So, and there you see it, the very fact that they had the opportunity now with the largest budget ever to show the folks in Region 9 that they value them and their ability to do what they have to do, and they refuse to increase by $1 the allocation that is given at the RDC level. That speaks volume also. So I don't want to just go past that.
Yeah. And could you imagine a region like Region 4, from $21 million the previous year, you get 18. So you're being asked to make bricks without straw. And this is in a COVID environment,
But that has been done specifically
in a COVID environment.
That has been done specifically to belittle, to stifle, to handcuff the arms of the RDC so that they would not be able to function effectively and efficiently. And then they're going to go out there and say, what are they doing? What are they doing for you? When in essence, they are crippling them financially. Now more than ever, when they need more money, they need more allocations. So the biggest budgets ever, $552.9 billion. I'm not going to stop saying it because of the fact that a lot of times, when we're doing this comparison as to where monies were spent before and all of that, we cannot forget that this budget and these allocations are being made with the full utilization of the oil revenue, something that the AP and UAFC did not have at their disposal prior. We cannot forget that.
So a lot happening. That is financially what has been happening at local government. Socially, what has been happening in local government. And I can't forget, as we wrap up the broadcast today, folks, I hope you share the live stream and smash the emoji button. Because there have been some other issues that have been cropping up, right? That they are local, but yet they are national in and of themselves. Local and national in and of themselves. You see what these guys doing, Lord, oh Lord, my God. People have been crying out. The government has not been listening to them. That's what we see in a lot of these NDCs, the government not hearing them, they're not consulting with them. And in the indigenous communities, in lots of these very regions we've articulated, Novella Noble, Only Barnett and Horace Thomas, Dushan Alexander, our indigenous brothers and sisters are suffering equally, is what you've said and what tomorrow's program will focus on in some of their very areas that they were elected in. The people are suffering. Little Canubali in Santa Cruz, Moruca, they've been complaining. This is region 1. Chinese landing, right? You had a whole decision that was handed down quite recently by the UN Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. This is issues to do with land and mining, where the government is not listening to them, but they're effing up the whole system.
That is true.
What do we mean by that? Effing up the whole system. They're bringing in friends, family, and favorites. Mining our indigenous people's lands, robbing them.
Wow.
And they get, if anything, you get a little small piece. The thing belongs to you, but you got no say. We see that at Chinese landing in this Wapashan community, Burima Waini, Region 1. Isanuru is an Akawayo community, Drida. You know this, you know Region 7. This is Middle Mazruni. You guys say Middle Maz.
Yeah, that is correct.
Right? There was a decision by the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, again to do with mining, to do with land, where the covetous, wicked, stinking, dirty PPP effing up the system again. Friends, family, and favorites.
Well, the persons there, white persons there that have depended on the land, that has lived off of the land, those persons that try to do very small scale mining are being forced out in so many instances where the community is not benefiting from 1 cent of the resources that is within their boundaries. And I want to make the point that this, I've been using this word for quite a lot these days when it comes to classism, because that's what it is. And unless we start to structure our mind and our thinking in this way, we're not going to understand fully the actual impact that it is having, because we always have this issue with persons, with this us against them, especially when it comes to areas that people refer to as traditional PPP strongholds, traditional coalition strongholds, and these things. And persons seems to completely go around the fact of classism, and that in all of these regions, in all of these communities, persons are suffering equally, because the government is only interested in their attitudes, the behavior, the systems of policies that they are instituting, and the practices altogether. It has been set up in such a mechanism that it just benefits the upper class in each of these communities at the expense of the lower class. And we need to stop thinking in that way, that, oh, well, if someone doesn't look a certain way, then we can't trust them. They don't look like us, then they're not. Because this is the ideology that has been brought and has been basically forced upon us as we were growing up in these societies, in these communities. But people need to understand classism is what we are seeing full-blown right now in the country and in every single area. Like Ramaya is rightly saying, every single area, persons are suffering because the poor people are left to squabble for whatever crumb is there on the ground it is at their expense, just so the upper class in the society will be favored and given all the benefit of the resources that the country should be looking to distribute not equally. I think this is a concept of the equality versus equity, and must have equitable access to these resources just against equal access. And this is something that we need to agree on. I don't care who you are, I don't care who you supported prior. This is something I say all the time. I am of the mindset that I am very passionate about representation when it comes to poor people, because they are in that class that suffers so that the upper class can live lavishly. And I would represent them, and I don't care which area they're in, I don't care how they look. You're a poor person and you don't have the means to actually get out there and to represent yourself, and I will do the best I can to represent you. And I don't care who you vote for prior and all of that. That's not my concern, because my concern is to basically just to close this gap between the rich and the poor in our country altogether, and to provide equitable opportunities for everyone to have an opportunity to elevate their standard of living and that of their family. So I am at pains to make the point to people that unless we start to think in that way, we will not see the benefit of our collective action. We need to have a collective voice in addressing this all together. We cannot just accept it as is, because we will continue as a people to suffer in pockets across the length and breadth of this country until we get to that place that we know all of us are in this struggle. Unless we demand more, unless we do that, the temporary situation will definitely become and remain permanent.
Yeah. And you know, the national poet says, all are involved and all are consumed. And this kind of situation is, we see, perpetuate itself in community after community, indigenous village after indigenous village, whether it's Senaru, whether it's the Marudi community, Deep South, Rupununi in Region 9, whether it's Wikikalkun in Region 10, whether it's Hururu in Region 10. This kind of disregard for the concerns of the people. What we heard Dr. Ramaya articulating, he said he went to the funerals. He says, "We time, we are concerned, we empower, we can do what we want. We can do what we want." But that's not how you govern.
Lawlessness, as he put it over.
There's lawlessness.
I have to use
decadence and decay. We can't all do what we want. Because if we become a society like that, why we need a constitution? Why we need laws? Why we need values? Why we need morals? Huh? But you see what has been happening? If you notice, people want to bring you down, right? You in a society, you have to have one standard. You can't get 10. And instead of coming up to the standard, they want to bring you down to their low standard of living. That's what they want to bring you down to, right? Not raise you up to what's supposed to be correct morals and values. No. They want to bring you down. And so we in power. So we give contracts to friends, family, and favorites. We only look after friends, family, and favorites.
Well, I have been very patient with a lot of when it comes to the contracts, but I can tell you that I am ready to look at the actual Auditor General's report for 2020 and onwards when it comes to the manner in which those contracts were actually given and executed.
I don't know. It looked like Guyana Spectator changing up here now. I don't know if it's the program, but he's saying the AFC gaining points on the ground. Then Norton said he got the SO. I don't know. You know, GT Spectator all over the place. Guyana Spectator all over the place. I don't know. My brother, my sister, my people, whoever you be, you have to pick a struggle. Pick a struggle. Pick a struggle. Folks, it's been our pleasure being here with you guys. Tomorrow we'll be talking about the very communities that I don't like this word control, right? That they administrate. The PPP, their people are suffering.
Yeah, they are.
And suffering badly too.
Yes.
You know the trouble we have in this country? We already have a poor standard of living. Things are already hard. And then you have something that is happening at an international level that compounds that. It means that the people at the bottom feeling it double time. And who poor in this country? Real poor. Eh? And who rich in this country? Opulent. Y'all read yesterday's editorial out this type of Starbucks News.
I have an issue with some of the people that we consider rich in this country.
Right?
I have some issues.
Read some of that. Read some of that. Folks, that's our time today. Sabitri Zal and Guyana Spectator, Chris Spooner, Tony Hack and Amabel Clement and Patricia Kissoon and all the other guys there. It's been our privilege, Chris Spooner.
I see Tony Hack. I see Patricia Kitsoon, Rhonda Lane,
Yep.
Amabel Clemente, guys. We're so happy that you joined us.
Kurt Paris. Good to have had all of you guys here. Good to have had you guys. And folks, this is what the programs are about. You don't have to agree with us. But when you come at your arguments, come strong.
Yeah, when you ask questions, I can tell you, I'm prepared to respond.
Yeah.
So
Right?
I am prepared to respond to every single question that you ask, you know.
And any day you want to rock and come in, just
Yeah.
we send you the link.
Yep. I can send you documentation prior.
Bring your views. Bring your views. We like views. You know, this politics, this fight we talk about, it's contending with ideas.
That is correct.
Right? It's contending with different views, different standpoints. That's how we can move this country forward.
That is correct. And guys, you know, we had a lot to say when it comes. I cannot leave this program shared without just mentioning this one thing. I think that you guys would remember that we were talking about the fact that with the gas prices, and I don't want to leave without saying that sooner than I have expected,
Gas price up again.
gas prices up again.
Like they put back the what was the tax?
Excise tax.
The
that
excise
was
tax, like they
removed.
put it back.
Well, now the excise tax is at zero, right? And the price.
You gotta carry to minus.
Probably gonna start subsidizing.
I don't know. Gas price up again.
It happens because it was a poor measure to
It was a poor
employ. It wasn't properly thought out, and again, it just it relied on this whole trickle-down economics of it. But it's a whole lot. But we're gonna be dealing with that some more.
Yep. It's been our pleasure, Jean Bond and Wendy Glasgow and Marie Selby. It's been our pleasure, guys. You know, unlike the Spectator and them boys, we don't run out water. And we are happy.
Hey, you're not going to be accepting support from Guyana
Definitely,
Spectator. I am
definitely.
lobbying
Guyana
for
Spectator.
support to come from
Definitely.
Guyana Spectator.
You know, we're totally public funded, and that's how we keep. And that's how we can target things. We're not beholden to anybody, hold any line. That's why we can say Guyana Spectator and all the other Guyana Spectators. Rock and comment. Just tell you where you are. We send the link. You understand?
That is
and
correct.
Let's fight. Let's fight.
But that would be interesting. That would be an interesting conversation, and I personally would support.
Whatever happened to our friend that used to come and argue with us? What's his name? He used to come in some. He came in twice or so on. What's his name?
I can't remember.
He used to argue on Facebook. What's his name again?
I think he comes in the morning programs more.
In the very early, he joined us a couple times. What's his name again? But he had a testicular fortitude. He was just one of a few.
Oh, to come through on the program.
Yes, he came in live with us a couple times.
Yes, I remember.
You know,
in the ring.
Yes.
I can't remember his name.
We love that. He came with Psycho one night. We love that. Folks, this is how we move this country forward.
When you test the metal, then they back down.
Yeah.
When you present the fact.
We got to come around this table. You got to put your views forward. I put my own forward. And the strongest ideas should be what moves this country forward.
I disagree.
Mohammed?
I disagree with the strongest ideas. I believe
the best ideas.
I believe in fact checking a little bit more. I think we need to rely more on what are actual facts. You know, present your case and all of that, but then provide the facts to back it up. You know, show the numbers to basically bring and support and strengthen your arguments all together. It doesn't matter. You can't tell me that and they did it good and somebody and who can say that they did it good, stronger or louder with
facts.
Show how. You know,
facts.
just list the way.
Nothing but
Let's
the facts.
look at the numbers. It's
Nothing
one thing to say it, but
Suited
then
Washington, just the facts. And Sandra Hanover, Anti-Sandra. Nothing but the facts. Crisis Bingo Bird.
Hey, Tony.
Nothing but the facts.
Tony, behave yourself in the comment section there.
We happy that you guys are here. We are back tomorrow, folks. This is one of the podcasts you really want to share, that folks get valid and valuable information. Share all our podcasts. And we're back tomorrow morning. FYI, bright and early. It's not holiday tomorrow.
I see GT boy is saying Paul Passad. Not sure. about that name. I see Glycis, I see you there. I see you there with your emojis coming through. Guys, I hope you're having a spectacular Sunday. I hope I didn't bring any bit of negativity. I try to have my voice very calm and collected. Bring some kind
Yeah. Folks, that's our time. That's our program. You all know we're available via Cash App, via Zelle, via PayPal, MMG, via Western Union, via MoneyGram. You need any guidance on how you can contribute to keep our programs going, valid and credible? 627-6963. That's our WhatsApp number. WhatsApp us. It's the 21st century. WhatsApp we. You know, email. Just WhatsApp us. We'll tell you how you can use one of our platforms to contribute to our programs. 627-6963. And all of those platforms are for your convenience. We got Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, MMG, MoneyGram, and Western Union. We're available at any one of these platforms, and you guys can contribute to keep our programs going valid and credible. To do this, it takes something to keep the doors open and the lights on.
I see, is it Marlon? Marlon said she's just off from work, so I hope she gets some rest for the rest of the day.
We're gonna get some rest too and come fired up in the morning. Rest is important, an important feature of one's life. Yep. That's our program, folks. That's our time. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you in the morning.
Yeah,
8 o'clock. Have a good day, guys.
Have a good rest of the weekend. Stay safe, guys. Stay safe. That's our time. That's our program.